Welcome back to The Hidden Therapist and the Everyday Alchemy series. I'm Nicholas Colt, and in this episode, we're diving deep into the 4 stages of personal growth, also known as the magnum opus, and how these stages can guide your emotional and psychological healing. These stages come from alchemy, but they're just as relevant to modern psychology as they mirror the process we all go through when we are evolving, healing, and becoming our best selves. In case you missed the first episode, we laid the foundation with Nigredo, the phase of breakdown and darkness. Today, we will look at the entire journey from start to finish. The journey of personal growth, as outlined in alchemy, is one of transformation. It's not linear, and it's not always easy, but it is powerful. The 4 stages we'll be covering today are Nigredo, Albedo, Citrinitas, and Rubedo. Let's break each of them down, one by one, and understand how they apply to your emotional and psychological journey. We start with Nigredo, the blackening phase. This is where everything feels like it's falling apart. In alchemical terms, it's the time when base metals are reduced to ashes. Emotionally, this is the stage when we face our darkness, the painful, difficult emotions we often avoid. It's the experience of loss, grief, anxiety, and sometimes depression. But Nigredo is just the beginning. You may feel like you're stuck, trapped, or like things are never going to get better. But know this, the breakdown is part of the process. It's where we confront our shadows, the parts of ourselves we might try to suppress or ignore. Think of Nigredo as the rock bottom in therapy. It's often the place where people start their journey of healing, and it can't be avoided. To move forward, we have to confront the dark, messy parts of ourselves. Once we acknowledge them, we begin the process of breaking down the old structures and emotional patterns that are no longer serving us. Once we've experienced the blackening, we move into Albedo, the stage of purification. It's the emotional equivalent of a cleansing. After we face the darkness, we begin to clear out the negative emotions, the trauma, and the things that have been holding us back. In therapy, this is when we start to process what we have been through, and we begin to heal. We work through old wounds, break negative thought patterns, and start to make space for something new. Albedo is about release, letting go of past hurts and coming to terms with what has happened. It's like washing away the emotional residue of Nigredo and making room for clarity. And yes, this takes time. Healing isn't something that happens in an instant. It's a process. And this stage may feel like it's never ending, but it's important. This is where we start to build a new foundation for ourselves, one that's healthier, more resilient, and more aligned with who we truly are. Next up is Citrinitas, the yellowing phase. This is when the light begins to break through. After the purification of Albedo, you start to gain insight. In psychological terms, this is when you start to see the patterns in your life, understand your past, and gain wisdom. Think of Citrinitas as the point where things begin to make sense. You start to develop awareness, you begin to recognize the lessons in your struggles, and you understand how they've shaped you. You are no longer reacting blindly to your emotions. Instead, you are learning to observe them, to reflect, and to grow. This is also the stage where your self-worth starts to shine through. You realize that you are capable of more than you thought, and you begin to understand your true potential. Citrinitas is about illumination, when the path forward becomes clear and you start to embrace a greater sense of purpose. And finally, we arrive at Rubedo, the reddening phase. This is the stage of completion and transmutation. In alchemy, Rubedo represents the realization of the philosopher's stone, the perfect, complete stage of being. Emotionally, Rubedo is when you integrate all the lessons you have learned through the previous stages, and you've come to a place of wholeness. This is when you are not just surviving, you are thriving. You've transformed. You have faced your shadows, healed your wounds, gained wisdom, and now you are able to live authentically, in alignment with your true self. You are stronger, more resilient, and you have reached a place where you can create, whether it's through your work, relationships, or the way you show up in the world. Rubedo is the process of living fully and embracing your true potential. You have gone through the alchemical journey, and now you are able to embody the wisdom you have gained along the way. So, the next time you are going through a difficult period, remember that it might just be the Nigredo phase, the dark before the dawn. And when you are in the process of healing, remember that Albedo is where the purification happens, and Citrinitas is the light that will eventually illuminate your path. And when you reach Rubedo, you will know you have undergone the full transformation. Thank you for joining me in the second episode of Everyday Alchemy, here on The Heathen Therapist. I hope this gives you a framework to understand the stages of your own growth, and I encourage you to reflect on where you might be in your personal journey right now. In the next episode, we will talk about how to turn negative thoughts into strength, applying alchemical principles to mental transformation. Until then, keep transforming, keep growing, and remember, alchemy isn't just about turning lead into gold, it's about turning your life into something extraordinary.